The morning air was thick with the buzz of children chattering. As the classroom door creaked open, an unnatural silence fell over the students. A woman stood in the doorway, dressed in a prim navy blue pencil skirt, a crisp white blouse buttoned up to her throat, and a string of pearls resting neatly at her collar. Her dark hair was styled into a tight, impeccable bouffant, and perched on her nose were black cat-eye glasses with sharp, dramatic frames that made her eyes seem even more intense. "Good morning, children," she said, her voice smooth, almost melodic. "Mrs. Johnson has taken the day off, and I will be your substitute. Today we are going to play a game." "My name is Miss Vespa," the woman continued, stepping inside. "I have a special lesson for you today, but you must promise me one thing. Whatever I give you must remain a secret. You mustn't tell your parents, otherwise it will ruin the surprise. Do you understand?" The students murmured uncertainly. Secrets were exciting, dangerous, but no one wanted to be the one to say no. Miss Vespa moved down the rows of desks, reaching into a small velvet bag. She placed an object in each child's hand, something smooth, round, and warm. Tommy Graves examined his under the desk. It was a small, pulsing seed, no bigger than a marble. When he touched it, it almost seemed to twitch in response. "Hide it in a dark place," Miss Vespa instructed, her voice like a lullaby. "And whatever you do, don't let anyone see it. By morning, it will be something special." The bell rang, signaling the end of the day. The students hurried home, clutching their strange gifts with a mixture of excitement and curiosity. That night, Tommy hid the seed deep in the back of his closet. He lay awake for hours, imagining what might happen. Would it bloom into a flower? Hatch into something alive? Eventually, sleep took him. A wet, slithering sound woke him in the middle of the night. He turned over, confused and a little afraid. A dim, pulsing glow leaked from the cracks of his closet door. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and something sickly sweet. He crept out of bed, every muscle in his body tensed. Slowly, he pulled open the closet door. Inside, a pod, large, fleshy, and pulsing, stood where his dirty clothes had been. It quivered slightly, and as he stepped closer, he saw his own reflection in the glossy surface. Only it wasn't quite his reflection. The other Tommy grinned, his teeth sharp and unnatural. A sudden pain shot through Tommy's head, a wave of dizziness knocking him back. The pod split open with a sickening tear, and before he could scream, something grabbed him and pulled him inside. The next morning, Mrs. Graves knocked on Tommy's bedroom door. No answer. She pushed it open, frowning. The room was oddly still. The closet door creaked open. Tommy stepped out, smiling. His mother frowned. Something was off. His skin seemed too smooth, his eyes a shade too dark. "Are you feeling okay?" "I'm fine, Mom," he said, his voice calm. "Just hungry." Something in the way he spoke sent a chill through her. The way he blinked, too slow, too deliberate. And then she saw it. A shred of torn, fleshy membrane stuck to his pajama sleeve, like a green slime. She swallowed hard, stepping back. "Maybe you should stay home today." "No need," Tommy interrupted. "Everything is perfect." Tommy's mother couldn't shake her unease. She searched his room while he was downstairs eating breakfast. Her fingers trembled as she opened the closet door. The pod was there as before, still damp, still pulsing. Wedged in its fleshy folds was Tommy's pajama top. Her stomach lurched. The thing downstairs wasn't her son. She started closing the closet door when she heard a noise behind her. She turned just in time to see Tommy standing behind her, head tilted, grin on his face. "You shouldn't have looked, Mommy. It's a secret." Across town, other parents were making the same horrifying discovery. The real children gone. The things in their place, perfect replicas, but not quite human. Something was wearing their skins and had taken their voices. The town erupted in chaos. Parents fought back, trying to destroy the creatures masquerading as their children. Some succeeded. Others were too late. The replicas were strong, fast, unnatural. By the time the authorities were alerted, half the town was in ruins. Days later, hundreds of miles away, a new school day was starting. A woman in a fitted pencil skirt, pearls, and a neatly styled bouffant stepped into a classroom full of eager young faces. Her black, cat-eye glasses gleamed as she surveyed her new students. She smiled warmly. "Good morning, children." Her voice was smooth, almost melodic. "Mr. Pierce has taken the day off, and I will be your substitute," she said, as she placed a small velvet bag on her desk. "Today, we are going to play a game." Mia hated Blanco Road. For the first year after Rachel's accident, she refused to take it home, even though it meant an extra 20 minutes on the drive, and though she was exhausted after bartending long shifts in Monterey, she had always taken the long way home after Rachel's death. But time wore down her grief. Eventually, she convinced herself that avoiding the road was silly, that it was just a stretch of asphalt cutting through the farmlands between Monterey and Salinas. So, on nights when she was too tired to care, she took the faster way, Blanco Road. Tonight was one of those nights. The dashboard clock glowed 2:10 a.m. as she drove past endless rows of crops. The scent of damp earth drifted through her cracked window. The road was dark, empty, except for the occasional distant headlights of another vehicle. Mia turned up the radio, trying to shake the unease that always crept in when she drove this way. Then she saw it, the familiar wooden cross. It stood just off the shoulder where Rachel's car had flipped and crumpled against a ditch. Someone had left fresh flowers again. Mia swallowed hard. She had meant to stop on one of these days, to pay her respects, but she never did. Something about getting too close to that spot felt wrong, like she wasn't supposed to linger. She kept her eyes forward, hands tight on the wheel. A moment later, she saw her. Rachel was standing by the cross. Mia's breath caught in her throat. Her fingers went numb. No, that's not possible. But it was Rachel. Same height, same dark hair, same jacket she used to wear all the time. She was facing the road. She was staring into the darkness, motionless, as if waiting. Mia's heart pounded in her ears. Her hands trembled on the steering wheel. Without realizing it, her foot came off the gas pedal and her car began to rapidly slow. It's just my imagination, my eyes playing tricks on me. She blinked hard, but Rachel was still there. Then, slowly, Rachel turned her head toward Mia. Mia let out a strangled gasp and yanked the wheel. The car swerved dangerously toward the edge of the road before she corrected herself. Chest heaving, she forced herself to focus. She's not there. She's not there. She's not there. She checked her rearview mirror. Rachel was gone. Mia sucked in sharp, ragged breaths. Her hands were shaking. The radio crackled with static. She reached for the dial, but then a voice, faint, familiar. Mia. Her stomach lurched. The voice was barely a whisper, buried beneath the white noise. But she knew that voice. She recognized it. Rachel. The radio snapped back to normal. Music played like nothing had happened. Mia's pulse thundered in her ears. What the heck is going on? Having almost rolled to a stop, she now pressed down on the gas. She just needed to get home. Needed to sleep. She was too tired. Maybe she was losing it. Maybe she... A flicker of movement ahead. Mia's breath hitched. Headlights. Coming fast. Her heart pounded as she squinted into the darkness, but something felt off. One of the headlights flickered out for a second. Her blood ran cold. It was a truck pulling a trailer, the same kind of truck that hit Rachel's car all those years ago. Mia's stomach dropped. If Mia hadn't slowed for a few seconds earlier, she would have reached the spot at the exact moment the truck drifted into her lane. Rachel wasn't there to haunt her. She was trying to warn her. Mia slammed on the brakes. Tires screeched. The car jolted. It fishtailed as she fought for control. She came to a sudden stop on the shoulder on the other side of the road. The truck roared past her, trailer whipping violently behind it. It would have hit her. If she hadn't stopped, if she hadn't slowed down, she would have been dead. Mia's breath came in sharp gasps. Her hands clutched the wheel so tightly her knuckles ached. Slowly, she turned to look back toward the wooden cross. Rachel was gone. Tears burned at the edges of Mia's vision. She let out a shaky breath, gripping the wheel, staring into the empty darkness where her best friend had been. A lump formed in her throat, her voice barely a whisper. "Thank you."